Hey guys, good morning. It's May 5th, 2021. I'm Kimberly Jolly from Factory Shop FlossTube, and we're on day 5 of FQS Stitch Maynia, and I have lots of finishes to show you, so it's going to be a fun show. So FQS Stitch Maynia, we kind of started this 3 years ago, and the first year that I did this, I started one new project every day, and that was just way too much. I wasn't able to finish things. At the end, I felt very defeated because I really didn't finish what I started. So this year, I'm doing 10 projects. It was actually 9, but I threw an extra one in yesterday just for the fun of it. So I'm gonna have 10 different projects over the month of May, and I have it divided where I can do little segments of everything on different days so that it kind of makes you do a little bit of stitching each day, and then at the end of the month, you have a ton of stuff that you have accomplished. And I showed everything I'm working on in the live stream that was 2 weeks ago. So if you want to check that out, it's got everything. But I'm going to jump right in and show you kind of where I'm at for this week. And right before the show, I was able to stitch a little bit more. So this is this week's progress. I'm going to take everything out of the bag. So we did put together this calendar for you. You can download this blank from our website. But this is on social media, so you can see what I'm stitching each day. And it kind of will give you an idea of how I broke everything up. And some days have more than others. But I try to make it manageable so that it's actually accomplishable. Because if I get too far behind, I'll get frustrated. So we're on day 5. So I'm gonna just kind of start with what I did this week, this far. So this is my monthly markings, and you've seen this several times. This is a design by Heart and Hand. There's 12 different designs with a border, so really 13 patterns. And I went ahead and did May. So I went ahead and did all of May instead of breaking it up into 3 different days, and this really was pretty quick. It was like an hour or 2. Super easy. What would be super helpful is if I just went ahead and did all the boxes for the remaining months, because then when I got there, it would be so easy. So that's something that I'm thinking about doing, is kind of cheating and getting a little bit ahead. I love this fabric. It's Venetian Stone by Witchell. And I don't know, I just love it. I love that. I mean, I guess I haven't really stitched much on this, and I love how the colors are really popping out. And, you know, sometimes if you have a tan, your tans or your whites get lost, but this snowman is really, really popping out. So this is my first day, and my needle just fell off. And we do have somebody asking when Pat Carson size 26 needles will be back in stock, and it should be any day. I ordered them last week, so any day. So that's one day. And then this day I actually worked on this morning. This is Stitchy Stars by Lori Holt. And I have it in my Dot Dot Goose bag. And this is, I kind of like this one because it only has 5 colors. So I'm using the Weeks Dye Works that are called for. And there's 7 stars. And when you finish this, you could, when you hang it up, you can hang it up horizontal, or you could hang it up vertical. So either way you piece it, it doesn't matter, but you can, you know, display it 2 different ways. So on here, I am stitching on Oatmeal 14 count by Lori Holt, and this was the first day. And so this morning I had a little bit of extra time before I started, so I went ahead and did all the boxes. So I might actually, when I do block 2, I might go ahead and do the remaining 3, and that way I have a little bit ahead. And anytime I can get ahead, it really helps me when I get to that week, because I think, oh my gosh, I don't have as much to do, and then I can get ahead on something else. And I am doing this on the mottled side of this fabric, so this side has, you know, some movement. And this one is just plain. So this took me maybe maybe 2 hours. It is kind of a lot of stitching because it is, you stitch every square. So when I'm doing something like this with the red and the navy, I will do those two colors last. So when I did this one, I did all my pinks first, then I did my whites, then my light blues, and then my reds, and then my navies, because I feel like red can sometimes not bleed, but you know, you just don't want that thread getting in your white. So this week I'll do all the white in this block, and then I'll do the light pink, the light blue, the red, and the navy. So I kind of do each color all at once. But I do think I'm going to go ahead and finish off all the borders. So that is day 2. And then this one, guys, yesterday, thank you to everyone who joined me on Stitchy Talk. Stitchy Talk is where I stitch with you once a month, and I'm using color and cotton, and this is Sail Away. It is a 5-part mystery PDF, so if you haven't signed up, you can still sign up. And part 1 was released on Friday, and then this Friday, part 2 will come. So next week, you'll get to see part 2. And I was able to finish this. It took me 3 hours yesterday. And this is probably the first time I have ever stitched a border before doing the rest of the piece. So this one, just a lot of people had questions if there's a border on the bottom, and there's not. So this is my 4th project. So part 2 of this week will come out Friday, and you'll stitch it right here. It'll go at the top. And it's kind of a lot of stitching this week, I would say. And I love the little bag it comes in. And everything kind of just fits perfect. And then, let's see what this one is. Oh, this one is so fun. So this one is part of our Stitch Quarterly. And I actually changed my colors up to be fun. So what I did here, this was released, the pattern is called Fresh Cut. It was released in Stitch Quarterly. And I'm going to go ahead and turn to my page in my book so I can tell you accurately what I did. So this pattern, if you're not in that club, the pattern released yesterday. And the pattern came with Cosmo, but I didn't want to buy anything. So these are all colors left over from Priscilla's projects. So you can see a lot of the threads are either a little bit, so I'm using Finley Gold, Grasshopper, Really Tealy. So you can tell on Really Tealy, I took like 3 skeins that were left over, combined it in one. Ladybug, there's not as much. Licorice Red, and let's see, 4-leaf clover. So these, I didn't want to buy anything. I just wanted to use what I had, and so those are really close to the Cosmo. I am stitching on 14 count Feed Sack Aida by Lori Holt, and if you got the kit, it came with bisque from Color and Cotton, and I decided to not use that just because it's not as stiff, and I really like my fabric to be stiff. And I cheated a little bit on part 2. Now today, or tomorrow, I actually have to do part 2, which kind of goes this way. And this one is one where the fabric on the front and the back is all the same. But I think this one would be really pretty. I already had this fabric, and I already had this floss, so I'm trying to use a lot of my leftovers because I don't want a big collection of stuff left over. And then we did get a question on one of these. Someone asked if they could see up close the modeling. So this is oatmeal fabric. I'm going to show it without the stitching so that you can see it a little bit more. So this has a little bit of modeling, which means it just has a little bit of movement. It has a hand-dyed effect look. It's not hand-dyed. But on the back, oh, so, wrong side. Haha. This is modeled, so you can see that movement, and this is not. So you can use either side. It's designed to where you can use either side, and obviously the side with modeling is darker. And then let's see, tips on best starch, please. I got this beautiful hand-dyed Aida, but it's so soft I'm having trouble. I love stiff Aida. I've never starched fabric unless I'm really trying to get a crease out, so I'm not really sure. I kind of just stick with Witchell and Lori Holt's fabric and Fabric Flare because I like the stiffness. But I'll tell you, like Cheryl, who works here, she does not use anything I use. She uses all hand-dyed stuff because she likes it softer. So it's all about preference, but I'm not really sure if I would starch. The Sail Away Needle Minder, we are looking into that, and we can answer you next week on that. And are the boxes and Stitchy stars more than 2 threads? No. So right here, we'll zoom in a little bit. I just used 2 strands, and it's Weeks Dye Works, and it's 14 count. So yeah, just 2 strands is all I did. Maybe it looks a little puffy, but yeah. And it says, can you show part 2 a fresh cut? I'd like to keep up with you. Yes, I can. So part 2, the way that I've just, I just made all this up, to be honest. So I'm considering fresh cut to be part 1, part 2, part 3. Well, I guess this whole thing would be part 3, part 4, and part 5. And Priscilla Blaine of priscillas2000.blogspot.com finished this for me. Do you wash your finished cross stitch when you're finished stitching? No. Good morning, Flossy friends from sunny Lebanon, Indiana. Day 3 of 4 mornings with Kimberly. Thank you, and thanks for watching every day. I still don't know how all of you guys even watch me or why you watch. I think it's hilarious. And Judy says, love your top. Thank you. I don't think I've ever worn it before. And then Kathy says, would you please talk about the easiest way to thread needles? I spend so much time trying to thread. So I actually, on yesterday's Stitchy Talk, talked a lot about this. So I would go watch yesterday's, but I pinch my thread and I use most of the time Pat Carson needles because they're easiest to thread. So I talk a lot about that in yesterday's. So check that out. And we do Stitchy Talk once a month. It's the first Tuesday of every month where I can just sit and answer questions and actually demo different ways to do things. So Wendy asks, I'm in the Stitch Card Club. The club started with E. I would like A through F. Okay, if you would like A through F, email Kathy, CATHY @fatquartershop.com and just tell her I would like to buy A through F at the discounted price, and she will run that and get that to you. Any word on when the frames will be in? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I hope soon. We have paid a huge deposit, so we are hoping anytime soon because we've actually paid for most of them. I'm waiting just like you, but I hope really soon. We do follow up with that quite a bit. The next thing I worked on this week is Saturday morning, we released part 4 of our charity stitch along. So this is a charity stitch along that's completely free, and you can download this for free. And all the money that we're raising for this goes directly to Make-A-Wish. So this was week 4 or part 4. And what I did here is I started with the white, and then I did all the white. And then I did all the light blue, and then I did all the light blue. I kind of did one color at a time, and it made it pretty fun because then some of them would be completed before others. I thought that was kind of a fun way to do it. And our next release on this will be May 15th, so you would just come to fatquartershop.com and check that out. And right now for 2021, we've raised $73,500, so thank you everyone. Kevin and I will also write a check for $20,000, and Mark Dunn of Moda Fabrics, he's the owner, will also donate $10,000, so we will raise at least $103,000. We were able to grant a wish last Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, last Monday. And Charlotte, she's 3. I showed some pictures of her last week, and on last week, the first part of her wish, because you can't really travel right now, due to travel restrictions, and so she got a shopping spree at Build-A-Bear, and then on Sunday, she got some other things. She wanted like a little car to drive around her neighborhood, and really what she really wanted was an iPad so that when she's going in for her treatments this week, she has something to do while she's in the hospital. So they sent us some pictures. I wasn't able to go. Emma had a dance show at the same exact time. So we're going to show you a couple of pictures of Charlotte. So what they did is she was gone from the house, and they came in and set it all up. And then the next picture shows her coming in, and she's very stylish. When we met her, she had on a Kendra Scott necklace, and she told me that, or her father told me that Kendra Scott, because I do know Kendra Scott does a lot of charity work. She actually, in the hospital, did a whole workshop, and she, at 3 years old, was able to pick her own stone, and her mom were able to make the little the necklace that she had. And then the next one is really funny. Oh my gosh, Kevin and I, when we were watching this, were cracking up. Kevin was like, oh my gosh, you gotta watch how she's gonna, and then
You
watch
like
what
your
she
pink
does. It's so
card?
funny. She's 3. Think about this. Now watch what she does. She's so funny. She just goes right in the street. She's just like, I'm gonna take off. She's so cute. So you guys made that possible.
Okay.
And every wish that we grant, we will be showing lots of pictures. Alice says, one of my May-nia starts is Sew by Row. I have 25 Lugana in antique white. How does that compare with Cloud? Pretty similar. Very similar. I mean, from the naked eye, you could see it, but nobody else would know. Margaret says, I purchased number 26 needles and they're hard to thread. Can you use number 24 needles with Aida 14? Yes. It just is going to be up to you if you like the way the tip goes in the fabric, but I think you can. Bowen are much thinner and they're harder to thread. I find Bowen much easier to use when you're stitching with 18 or 16 count. But most of the time I use Pat Carson size 24. I bought a package of 25 way back like 2 years ago, and I just now ran out because I do bend my needles, and they do get kind of sticky, and I'll throw them out eventually. I keep them for more than one project until I just feel like they're kind of gross. Maria says, I'm at work, after work, watching and cross-stitching from the UK, stitching a bothy thread design from Love Blossoms. Yay, that's what she's stitching. Life as a mom, I watch while the kids are reading during homeschool. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait until September 2021 and my kids go back to school. It's going to be amazing. Next year, I'm going to have one in high school, two in middle school, and one in elementary school. And none of those schools are on the same street. Not only are they not on the same street, they're all about 15 to 20 minutes apart. So I have no idea how we're going to get them all there. Live stream time might have to change, but we're not really sure how that's all going to happen. But I'm like, you know what? I can wait and figure it out in August. I have a hard time telling apart 24, 22, and 26. So I agree. And because I cannot tell them apart, I put them in here. And on the back, I use Lori Holt stickers because I can't tell them apart either. Now I am going to pull one needle out each. These are all Pat Carson. So 24 is going to be your biggest, and I think you can tell what a 24 is. Hold on, I'm going to pull something real quick just so you can see. So I think 24 are the easiest to tell. It's thick. It's really thick. You can tell what a 24 is because it's, you know, this one is skinnier. This is 26. This is the one that I use the most. And it's shorter. And the eye is obviously smaller and it's thinner. So that's 26. And then 28 is much, much shorter and harder to thread. So the length Sorry, I'm trying to get them to tell the difference. So I keep them in 3 different containers because I also cannot tell the difference. But your size 28 is going to be your thickest, longest. 24. 26 is going to be in the middle, and then 28 is going to be the tiniest. And 28 is always going to be harder to thread. So put these back in here. So I think a package of Pat Carson, there's 25 in a package. They're pretty expensive, but I was able to use a whole pack in about a year and a half. Is how long it took me to go through it. And I make a ton of projects, so that's not too bad. What fabric and pattern is on the home cross stitch that's behind you? The fabric behind me, right here, is Fabric Flare 14 count whitewash board fabric. And the thread on that one is hickory stick, and the pattern is by Heart and Home by Needle Bling Designs, and I took some of the items off. Like there was some extra stuff on it that I didn't add. Are those containers available? Yes, they are. So we can link to them. Yeah, we sell them, and we had them made. They're super cute. Does it really matter what needle you use? I think it does, and I also think a lot of it is personal preference. But when I'm stitching on 14 count, I love the size 26. The other day when I started really working on the 16 count sampler of the month, I really was struggling to get the needle all the way through, and so Cheryl said, oh, change your needle, and it really did make a difference. Laura says, silly question, how do you know when to get rid of a needle? Okay, that's easy for me. So I bend my needles. When they're bent, so here's your needle. When they bend a little bit like this, that's time to throw them away. Sometimes mine get sticky, even though I do wash my hands before I stitch. If it just gets too sticky, I used to kind of use alcohol and take it off, and then I can't find my alcohol anymore, so I just throw them away. Do you have the part numbers where to buy the finishing the sale away? So if you go to our blog post, just go to the Jolly Jabber and search Sail Away, and we have a whole blog post. It has all the information on all of the notions, the bag, the pattern, the different thread options, and the different pattern options. And we're really trying to put all of our cross stitch very detailed on our blog so that there's always somewhere for you to go for that, because in 2 years, I'm gonna have forgot all of that. Dawn says, I'm making the quilt for Serendipity, but I'm switching up the colors using Happy Day. What Aida cloth would match? Happy Day. I think you would go with more of a cream. Background would look really good. So maybe not Beautiful Beige. What's a little bit lighter? White chocolate. Somewhere between white chocolate and lamb's wool is where I would go, because that has a real cream base to it. What size needle would you use on 22 count? I would use a size 28. I watch while I'm working. Shh, don't tell. Aw, that's cute. So I actually always have headphones on, so when people come in my office, half the time they scare me. But the reason I have them on when I work, actually, I am very distracted by noise. And I'm very distracted by noise and smell. Like super distracted. I'm like, I don't know what you call that, like hypersensitive to all that. So when I have on my headphones, half the time I'm not even watching. I just have on something. I don't even like pay attention to what I'm even watching. Good morning, Kimberly. When will you and Lori get together to choose the Americana themed floss for Flea Market Flowers? July. I'm gonna go there in July, August. What kind of frame surfaces can you use Lori's paint on? So I think any kind of wood that doesn't have like a gloss to it would be good. anything that you could use a Chalky Chicks paint on. So maybe Google, you know, surfaces, because that's the kind of paint it is. It doesn't have the oil base. What kind of, oh, do you have a different nail polish today? No, always the same, Cajun Shrimp. So I wear it for good luck. I actually, at one time, one of my really good friends was like, can you just, when we get our nails done, she would say, can you just change your nail color? Like, you're always the same, you need to change it up. And I did, and you know, I had really bad luck that year, and I completely stopped. So I always use Cajun Shrimp, and it's kind of like a staple of OPI. So anywhere I go, they have it, because I don't really go to the same places. I just honestly go when I have time and where I can get in. Can you wash your needles when they get sticky? Yes. So you could use rubbing alcohol. Somehow the rubbing alcohol in my house has disappeared. Best needle for 10 count would be 28 count. And I am going to show some other stuff I've worked on. So I actually, oh my gosh, was so late on this. This is the Bonnie and Camille quilt bee. This is the quilt on the front that I made. Bonnie and Camille designed it, and I am making the cross stitch that is only available in the book. And I'll show you the calendar of kind of all the stitching. We are on week 8, so no, week 9. And you can see week 9 had a lot, and week 10 is right behind it. So if you look at my stitching, this took like 4 hours, which is kind of a lot. So this, I barely finished it last night at like 10 o'clock, which is like really cutting it close for me. Now next week will be some little kind of like 9 patches down here, but my goal this week is to do the little section down here. I'm actually going to finish this top part, and I'm going to do one little section over here so that I'm ahead. And I'm stitching on 18 count antique white, and I'm using the called for Cosmo thread. I'm using 18 count. I'm using 2 strands. I think you're only supposed to use 1 strand on 18 count, but I think it actually looks pretty good, so I'm actually happy with it. And just roll this up, put it in my bag. So this bag is from Christy of Crosshatch Quilts. She has a little Instagram. And the next thing I finished, I didn't expect to finish it, so very happy that I finished it. This is Home by Rabbit Valley Studio, and I used the leftover floss. I kitted up America the Beautiful by Priscilla and Chelsea. I haven't started it yet, but I have it all kitted. So I just pulled the same threads to start with, and then I'll show you all my other threads real quick. So for the blue, I used Deep Blue Sea. For the white, I used Bamboo. For the light blue, that's DMC 3753. This little yellow is Eggshell. It's really, I mean, it's really a cream, but it shows up yellow here. And then I used Ribbon Red. So again, I didn't have to buy anything. Now, of course, when I go to stitch America the Beautiful, I am going to have to buy another blue because obviously I used all of this. This was really fun. On this one, I kind of went for just doing whatever, whenever, and I didn't use a light. I didn't use a magnifier. I did this mainly at baseball games, and it actually fell on the dirt, and I had to tell my kids, oh my gosh, hurry, run it and get it, because I didn't want to fall out of the bleachers and hurt myself trying to get this. So that's super exciting. And Laura is asking, do I use a hoop when I cross stitch? No, I do not. So if you watch yesterday's Stitchy Talk, I show how I stitch in hand. Because I stitch in hand, I like to use fabric that is very stiff, and I use Wonder Clips to roll it up as I'm stitching. Gabriel says, good morning, Kimberly. How's Piggy? I hope he stays out of trouble. Oh, he's good. He's so cute. I'll have to show some pictures. We've kind of trained him to where at night he'll come snuggle for a little bit, and then he goes and he like doesn't want anything to do with us. So he actually wouldn't snuggle with me last night because Christopher got all the snuggles, because he's like, he wants to be petted for about 5 minutes and that's it. Nadine says, thank you for giving us projects that have matching quilt and cross stitch. Makes for beautiful decor. Thank you. I kind of selfishly do it for myself, but it's always nice to be able to show everybody what I'm doing. How many hours did it take to do home? I think it was 8. Let me see. 8.5. And I think it would have been a lot quicker if I would have been doing it with a light and at home, but it's very messy. The stitches are horrible. So I wanted to show you, this is going to ship to everybody tomorrow. So I'm so excited. This is the brand new Calendar Crates program by Stitching with the Housewives, Priscilla and Chelsea. And thanks to all of you, we are offering this 2 ways. With fabric will come packaged just like this. We always do a beautiful job packaging all of our items. And that's one of my favorite things about Fat Quarter Shop. And then this one comes without fabric. And the first one is July. I'm going to show you the design. I know I've shown you a million times, but it has 2 charts. This is the Calendar Crate, and this is the mini. And Calendar Crate is just a name. It's not like an actual item. Now, I bought this item on sale and shipped it to Priscilla, and I'm just going to switch this out each time, and I'm going to put this by my back door. And on the back, Denise does a beautiful job of putting all the information, exactly what's included. So this will be shipping to everyone tomorrow, but I have a lot of fun stuff to show you from this. Oh, this actually makes 11 for May-nia. This is the mini. So that is the little mini design that was at the bottom. I'll show you again. And I had to make it real quick. So it's this little piece down here. So I'm going to hold that and I'm going to mail it to Priscilla when I get this one done. So I'll actually start this week. I probably won't divide this in sections. I'll probably try to do 3 hours a week on it, and it's going to be really cute. And then I'll mail this to Priscilla to finish, but yes. And we did a really awesome thing where we are going to show you different fabrics if you are in the club and you're interested in a different fabric. So we're going to start with this. This is the same as, this is what I use. This is what I love. I'm going to use it forever and ever. So this is Chalkboard Black by Witchell. I'm going to leave the name so you can see it. So that's Chalkboard Black. It's definitely black. It's just not like a black, but this matches my house really well and I love it. I'm going to show you the same thing in black. So this is Chalkboard Black and this is True Black, both 14 count, both Witchell. And now we've got Linen Black. So you can see this starts to not look black. And then we've got Jobelan Black, which is very similar to Linen. So Linen, you stitch over 2, and Jobelan, you stitch over 2, but Jobelan is an even weave. And then we have one more black. This is Linda. So we buy this by the bolt. It's 27 count, which is a bigger, little bit bigger. And this is similar to the color that Priscilla and Chelsea use because they are using Monaco black that's no longer made. What color fabric is land that I love on? Okay, Chalkboard Black. This one. And this is actually like, I just cut this out the other night and I don't even serge it because these are so quick that I just do them real quick. How many threads do you use for 10 count? I think I missed it. So on 10 count, you can stitch with either 4 strands or 6 strands. I would do a little section in the corner and see what you like better, but I would do either 4 or 6. Crafting a plan live. Will calendar crates always have 2 charts, or is that special for July? So They will always have two, a large and a small. And they will be seasonally themed. Now, she did give a tease on last week's FlossTube for the next one. So if you want to see August's, you can look. The tease, okay, the tease this week, it was pretty small, so I couldn't guess what it was going to be. And what size is patterned for calendar crate? So your small is going to be 3 by 3.5, which is right here. And your large will be about 7 inches square if you're stitching on 14 count. What is Jobelan? So Jobelan is, okay, I'm going to move this. So this is even weave Linda. I'm going to move that. These are your 2 Aida blacks, chalkboard, and then regular. Okay, linen, I'm going to show you linen. Linen is, I don't want to say uneven, but it's not even 100%. So the thickness of the threads going this way and this way might not be exactly the same. So it gives it a very vintage feel. Jobelan is the same thing except it's even, but if you can zoom in a tiny bit, you can see there's little snubs. I don't know what you would call it. Let me find them. Let me get them to show. See that little line right there? There's little, it's like little defects in the fabric, but it's meant to be there. I personally wouldn't stitch on Jobelan because that would drive me insane. See, you can see one right there. That would just drive me nuts. But if you look at Cheryl's pieces, when I show them, they have that and they're beautiful in the end. It would drive me nuts. And then, oh my gosh, okay, so this is part of calendar crate, so I'm going to leave that there. Now, when Priscilla finishes it, I am going to put it in the little frame that goes at the bottom. But I'm also, the car pattern. I made this one last night. I felt like, oh my gosh, I didn't have enough stuff to show you, so I thought, well, let me make another one. So this one, I'm gonna have Priscilla finish so that it can go in my 3-tiered tray. And she bought these little blocks that are at Michael's that have different colors on the end. So she's gonna finish it on that for me. And then this is the free chart that goes with Proud to be an American. So this released last Wednesday. So if you wanna make this one, you would buy this PDF and this is in there. Now also, I am going to do, there's one more pattern that I'm gonna do for my tier tray. It's called Red, White, and Blue. And I'm gonna show it in a second. And they're all three, I'm gonna use all the same colors so that I'm not really having to buy anything. So this, I didn't buy anything. I already had this little black fabric. And not only did I have the black fabric, I used all of the same floss. So I'm just kind of using all the same stuff. It's not gonna go right next to each other in the house. I think I'm gonna put the calendar crates when you walk in the house by the back door. And then my 3-tiered tray, I'm thinking I'm gonna do 2 for that. I think I'm gonna do this one. And there's one other that I'm gonna do. And I have it kitted up and I have it, oh my gosh, in their cute little bag. So their PDFs fit great in their little bags. I just folded mine in half. I have it this way so you can't see the chart. And I just have my floss. So you can see that I'm getting towards the end of some of this floss. But it works great, and this is great for baseball because you can just like walk up with, I mean, like this is like nothing to carry. And everything fits nicely in there. Now this, I've only used this needle once. So before I mail it to Priscilla, I'll take it out and put it back in my little thing. Is there a 14 count Jobelan? No, because 14 count Jobelan is an over 2 fabric. So it would be 28 count Jobelan. They don't make Jobelan Aida. And then I would love to see your tier tray and how you decorate it. Okay, I'll show it. It will be done, let's see. I'll probably show it in August because I got to mail these to Priscilla and she's going to mail them back. But this is the third one I'm going to do. So these two are going to go on my tier tray, and then this one's going to go on my calendar crates. But they're all going to be very matchy-matchy. And I will do a little confession. So I don't understand Raydon. I don't get it. It's totally outside of my wheelhouse. But last week on Priscilla and Chelsea's channel, they had this red truck, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to find that truck. So I'm going to get on the bandwagon, and I'm going to find that truck. I'm going to probably look on Etsy, or not Etsy, eBay, and try to find that truck because it's going to be so cute in the tier tray. Okay, so now I'll go back to the front camera. Out of all the Aida 14 count FQS SALs, which has the most defined holes? I'm not finding all 14 count Aidas are equal. I think Witchel's super easy to use. I think Fabric Flare is easy. Fabric Flare is a tiny bit softer. They should all be about similar. But I think if I was a beginner, I would start with Witchel. What size is the frame size for the small project for calendar crates? I already have the big piece. So I think that that's probably a 4x4 frame. We can ask Priscilla to answer that on her FlossTube this Saturday, but since it finishes at 3x3.5, I'm thinking that's a 4x4 frame, and I'm sure she got it at Hobby Lobby, Walmart, or Michael's, because those are the three places she shops. Will the calendar crates pattern be available separately? Yes, and it will be online tomorrow. Are you bothered by people at baseball or dance if they want to see or watch what you're working on? No, nobody really asks me. My friends at dance, they all know what I do. Like, they all know, so they'll look every now and then, but no, nobody really asks me. Maybe I'm not very approachable. Baseball, I don't really know any of the moms. I just know that some of the dads, they're a little crazy. Like, these kids are 10 years old. Like, they're just a little much. But no, I'm not bothered. I mean, I like to talk to people, but no, nobody really asks me. Woohoo, Kimberly and Raydon. Oh my gosh, I've got to find that truck. I wanted to text her and be like, can you find it and text it and mail it to me? But then I was like, no, I'm not going to abuse my friendship. But yes, the thing is, in Texas, we don't have as much Raydon. The Home Goods, it's literally 5 minutes from my house. They hardly have any. They used to have a lot, but now, I mean, it's almost nil, like nothing. TJ Maxx has the red truck. Okay, so there's not a TJ Maxx near me, but I'll have to maybe find one. Surely the last you showed was linen with the slubs. It might have been. I might have had them reversed, so the linen might have the slubs. And I'm glad you said that word because I couldn't figure out what the word was. Kimberly says, how many strands for 14 count? 2. And if you want to see how to start with the loop method, you can watch yesterday's Stitchy Talk. Is there somewhere other than Facebook to watch this live? I hear Kimberly refer to comments I can't see. Yes, if you go to YouTube and look up the channel Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube, you will find it. There is also a Fat Quarter Shop quilting channel, but that is for quilting. So the one that you're looking for is FlossTube. And I wanted to show you my previous feature, which is May. So I did this in 2019, and I stitched on this during Stitch Maynia in 2019. This is by Country Cottage Needleworks. These are always out at my house. Like, I always have them displayed. And the funny thing is that I always have May at work in May. So at my house right now, I have June up. Because I want to celebrate. It's okay. My kids are just like, it's not June. And I'm like, it's fine. Your mom's weird. And I stitched all of this on 14 count lamb's wool. And these are family tree frames. And back then I didn't have the library cards. So I just put little stickers so that I can always remember the year. And I usually put these on easels. I usually don't hang them on the wall. So I don't even need that. For our club feature, I wanted to show you, I am in this club, so I got this order last week. For the Witchel Neutral Club this month, you can get either 14 count Aida or 28 count linen. And they're a slightly different color. And It's called Stony Point. For our flash sale today, we have 2 items. We have the Mayflowers tree pattern by Hello from Liz Matthews. Now on this, you could just make this as one piece and you could not turn it into a tree. It could just be a tree with a lot of fabric here, which is what I would do. And we also have a linen on sale, Graceful Gray, and here are the nubs. So in linen, you're gonna get these little nubs. Slubs, nubs, knots, whatever. To me, they're like a no-no. So yes, I'm very sorry. In my previous section, I had Jobelan and linen mixed. Jobelan is cleaner, linen is not. And oh my gosh, Priscilla says they will look for it for me. Yay! I will look too, and if I find it, I will let you know. I just haven't been, I don't know. I'm really jealous that everybody, well, okay, so when I go to Utah to see Lori, their TJ Maxx and their Home Goods, it's the same store. In Texas, it's not the same store. So, yeah. Because one time Lori said, well, you can just get a shirt at TJ Maxx. And I was like, it's not connected in Texas. So, you know, it's just different how different stores are. We have a lot of new stuff I'm going to show you, and then I'm happy to answer any questions. The first thing I showed you earlier in the show is the Fresh Cut pattern is now available as a paper pattern. And of course, in 6 months, it'll be available as a PDF. So that's one of our new ones. And Stitch Quarterly members got it first. And we put together a pack of all of the Trucking Along patterns. This was the very first series that Priscilla and Chelsea put together. So if you missed out, didn't do the club, or want to do it now, you can buy all of them all at once. Some new Priscilla and Chelsea patterns. This was last Friday, and it's called Oh Baby. And so Priscilla is about to have a new granddaughter later this month, so I'm sure that's why she made this. Today's new Priscilla and Chelsea pattern is Sweet Corn Seeds. I don't know, I think their hands are about to fall off with all their new patterns. I don't know how they can stitch this fast. So there's that. And then these are now available as PDFs. They went up on Monday. So this is America the Beautiful. So I have this one kitted up. This is the one I keep talking about that I am going to do. This is Liberty Farm, and I really like this one too. I really like the flag on the farm. And then Heart in Hand, they have a couple of series called Square Dance. The new one is Square Dance 1 for Halloween, and there will be 4 of these. And this is the first one in the Halloween. And usually she does a free pattern that will be a border set. So I haven't seen that yet. Once we see it, we'll let you know. But I really like this one. This one is also by Heart in Hand. I'm going to put it sideways. I think it's pretty cool. I love it. I love the flap. I love the colors. So here it is flat, and here it is the same design and a little pin cushion. She also has Doodle Summer, and I previously showed Doodle Spring. And we can't remember if we showed you last week, but this is July Sampler of the Month. So if you're in the club, you got this along with your remaining fabric that you needed. And I will stitch this in June also. And we did get some new hand-dyed fabric. So this is by Fiber on a Whim. This is 14 count cream and sugar. So Fiber on a Whim, when you get it, it does come serged, and it is hand dyed. So one side will look a little bit different than the other side. And I like how they staple this in the selvage so that you know what you have. And a lot of people like this fabric if they don't have a serger. They also have the linen, 28 count cashel linen, and cream and sugar. And then this is 36 count. I don't know that there's really any holes in there. Like, really. I don't know how you could see those holes. Sorry, I'm just being funny. And cobalt. This is 40 count cobalt. And this is parchment 40 count. So we did get some 40 counts by request. Jan Hicks asked us to carry them, so we are. I did also want to let you know, so these are the new Fiber on a Whim colors. The other company, Picture This Plus, I wanted to let you know that, so Picture This Plus is super behind. This week we're getting our shipment from September 30th. That's how behind they are. And they're limiting shops to 40 pieces. So if I buy like 200 pieces, I can't get them. So everything that I reordered, I'm only getting 40 pieces, and I'm afraid we're gonna get a lot of complaints. But I just want to apologize. She put every shop on a 40 quantity limit. So I can only order 40 at a time, and everything I have on order after that, that's over 40, I can only get 40. I did want to give a super thank you to Super Chat Valeria Bauer, 1999. Thanks for being you. Oh, thank you. And Piggy says thank you. And my new small piggy. And I did want to let everybody know we have a new team member behind the camera. His name is Jordan, and he's making sure that we keep the live streams running. And so we're super excited to have him. And let us know in the comments what new items you're looking forward to, so that if there's any, because we'll go through, Denise and I and Ashley will go through, and if there's anything that we haven't carried that you see maybe at another shop that you want us to carry, that would be great. Margaret says TJ Maxx, Home Goods, and Marshalls are owned by the same company. So my neighbor works for the main company, so they supply different locations, different items. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Laura, I would love a tour of your home to see how you display stuff. It sounds super cute and I need ideas. So I'm definitely a whip in that, like a work in progress. When I decorate, it takes me literally 8 hours and I go into complete meltdown mode. Like, I don't feel like I know how to decorate, because what I do is I copy Lori and I copy Priscilla. So I feel guilty the entire time I'm doing it, because I'm sitting there just copying everything that somebody else is doing, and I have to go back and forth to the store. I can show some pictures, but I don't feel like what I do is that great. Are you going to be offering any colored and cotton fabrics? Yes. So we do have some. And if there's another color that you want or size, just let us know and we'll get that. Small frame for calendar crates is in the patriotic section at Hobby Lobby. That's from Priscilla and Chelsea. So for the longest time, I didn't know what they meant by like spring section, patriotic section. And actually, if you look on the back of some of the pieces at the store, it will tell you. So yeah, everybody say hi to Jordan. And I have, let's see, you're busy this week, 3 live streams. Are you going to keep it up and do one tomorrow? No. I have to take my daughter to school tomorrow. She doesn't start school until 8:50. Who in the world starts school at 8:50? That's the most ridiculous thing ever. Is Picture This Plus Aida soft or stiff? Soft. And for this week, I thought it would be fun to just sew some pictures of my kids. So some of you guys haven't seen them in a while. This is from Sunday. And look how big Emma is. So she is 14, and they did a show where they have to choreograph the whole show, and it was about an hour, and that's a picture of Emma and I, and she looks just like her daddy, but she's so precious. So I got that picture of her, and then I got a picture of Christopher. So that's my house decorated. It's not that great. I've got a quilt on the back of the couch. I've got behind, you can see, I've got a little tub of quilts, and that is Christopher getting the game ball. So this is so sad. So he's at a new, well, I don't want to say new now because it's not new anymore. This is his 3rd time on this like series type thing. This is the first time he's gotten a game ball. He was so excited, and I think it's going to give him the confidence that he needs, because he's so scared of the ball. But oh my gosh, he did so good. So he has a game tonight. I'm super excited about it. And Guys, thanks for watching. I've had a lot of fun with you today. Jordan has had a lot of fun with you. Denise has had a lot of fun with you. Comment. Let us know what you're looking forward to most. And also, I would really like y'all to tell me your favorite brand of floss. That would be great to know. And I will see you next Wednesday. Bye.